and the expectations that we put on ourselves are still there, oh man, that's body burnout, where it's not just tiredness. You're cooked, mate.
A horrible place to be. Have you ever felt like you're running on empty? Like no matter how hard you push, you just can't catch up? Today I'm joined by Chris Bellette, a burnout recovery coach who helps people heal the root causes of burnout. He opens up about his own crash from burnout and how it nearly destroyed his health, marriage, and identity, and the exact process he used to rebuild his life and find a sense of purpose and self-worth. We talk about why burnout's not just about overworking. It's about the stories we carry, the patterns we run, and the pressure to always be enough. If you're feeling stuck, exhausted, or like you've lost yourself, this conversation could be your turning point. Welcome to Move Your Mind, where we uncover why you are holding yourself back from getting the life you want and what to do about it. With the help from high-achieving guests and experts in behavioural science, personal development, and the health and wellness space. Join us if you're ready to move out of your own way toward your ideal self. I'm your host, Nick Brax, and I've been working in the health and wellness space for the last 15 years, helping people find direction and gain the courage to take control of their life. My mission is simple: to help you learn everything that I wish I knew so you can become your ideal self. Lacking guidance, I spent the majority of my youth feeling lost and disempowered, which led to depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and substance abuse. Looking back, I didn't have the vocabulary to communicate what I was experiencing. And as a man, I didn't resonate with the emotional language used in traditional therapy. I didn't need to talk about my feelings. I needed tangible solutions to guide me toward building a life I was proud of. If you can relate, then this podcast is for you. In this episode, we discuss how to recover from burnout and rebuild your life. If you're ready to take action and build a stronger mindset, then keep listening. Great to meet you, mate. Thank you for making the time to come on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Nick. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. So I'm just going to jump straight in. Are you able to, just so our listeners can get to know you a bit better, give a bit of a background on yourself and the work you do?
Yeah, cool. Well, my name's Chris Bellette. I'm a burnout recovery coach, and together with my wife, Philippa, we own a functional medicine practice based here in Tasmania, where I am. And we're best known for our 6-month healing accelerator called the Ending Body Burnout Method. And we've, over the course of the last couple of decades, we've helped thousands of people with their energy, their mood, their gut issues, to really have a happy, healthy lifestyle that they really want and deserve.
And what got you into that area in the first place? How did you end up working in helping people with burnout?
Yeah, cool. Well, number one, I went through a burnout experience myself, and so did my wife, and it became such a meaningful part of my journey. It was an essential thing for me to go through in my development as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a human. And so my burnout experience happened while I was participating in sport, and my body just shut down. I wasn't able to perform and do the things that I used to be able to do. My business started suffering the consequences of me, the owner, being burned out. My relationship with Philly was on the rocks. I was a pretty rubbish dad and a rubbish husband, and I treated myself like rubbish as well. And they were all, that wasn't the problem. That was the symptom and the consequence of me running patterns that were unresourceful and dysfunctional. And with help of coaches for myself and working through a lot of processes, I was able to come out the other end. And now I'm on a mission to help other guys, and I love helping guys specifically, but I also work with women and men. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, mate. And I'm very relevant for our audience. We're 70% men. A lot of our listeners are men that are, in the 30 to 45 year sort of age group, and they're stuck. they're like feeling like, fuck, I don't know what to do. I'm in a job I'm not enjoying. I want to start a business. I want to, and it could be anything from burnout to just not, being fear getting in the way, not knowing what steps to
Mm.
take. So it's super common, I think, for men, and we, for everyone, obviously, but we can, as men, put so much pressure on ourselves, but that we need to be so many different things and we need to achieve all these different things. And you can get burnt out if you don't be careful with that.
Yeah, I call it getting stuck up should creek. It's I should do this, I should do that, I've got to do this. Or you get your jollies off helping people or doing the things that you must do. I call it masturbation as well. You get your rocks off doing the things you must do, and you start to lose yourself, and your body starts to get sick, you get tired, you get fat, you get grumpy, mood swings, anxiety, depression, frustration, anger, um, even like sadness, and I think that doesn't get talked about enough. Shame and guilt, and maybe we might not, as guys, have that language in our toolkit to say that. But at the end of the day, when you're stuck in Should Creek without a paddle, and you feel like, man, if I don't do this, then that's not good. That's a problem. I'm not good enough if I don't do this. And if I don't do this, then who am I? Because I do this. I'm the guy that does this. I'm the guy that provides for my family, or I'm the guy that has to go to work. And we've got all these expectations on ourselves that we heap upon ourselves, and then when our body shuts down and we start to get, it's not just tired, but it's exhaustion, and we get sore and we get sick, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are still there. Oh man, so that's body burnout, where it's not just tiredness. You're cooked, mate.
A horrible place to be, and it can feel, I mean, I know from my own experience, like a lot of the stuff you're talking about there, I've done a lot of, the shoulds. I've been definitely in Should Creek with no fucking paddle many times. And
Yeah.
but it's exhausting, it is that thing where it's like, oh no, but I need to do this. I need to achieve that. I need to do that. And if you're not doing it, it's, you go crazy, and you're putting so much pressure on yourself and trying to do all these different things rather than just letting go and looking at what's in front of you and, taking things one step at a time. But it's so hard to do. It's really hard to find that balance. And I guess from what you're saying, would you say with burnout, it's not necessarily, because I know, again, from my own experience, what I've found is it might not be actually to do with, the workload that I'm doing. I've had periods where things are so aligned and I'm working, 16 hours a day and I'm feeling amazing. But I've had periods where I'm barely getting any work done in the day. And I feel like I have no energy because there's so many things on my mind. It feels like there's a weight on your chest. So is it more that mental side of just carrying all of these different, patterns that you can't get rid of? Is that where a lot of it's caused from?
Yeah. Well, you can't have any sort of body symptom without there being a body system that's not working the way it could or should. In our practice, we start there. We start with the physical side of things. We go, all right, well, okay, so you're sick, tired, grumpy, overweight, haven't seen you for about a couple of years, and your belt your belt doesn't fit, and you're online looking for a new pair of pants because you just ripped all your others, and you're in this situation where, man, physically I know something's not quite right. So we just start there, and we have a look at, all right, well, what body systems aren't working the way they could or should? Is there something that needs to be kick-started, or is there something that maybe something's growing inside of you, like an overgrowth or a parasite or a bacteria that could have been, maybe it wasn't the thing that started the whole process, but it's making your healing harder. And that's probably what's causing the symptom, the sickness, the frustration to get worse, So we start at the physical, and then we work on what we call the metaphysical, which is how your body system started falling apart in the first place, why they stopped functioning, why you started to get these sicknesses or these symptoms. We start looking at we call it the root cause. It's right in there. It's why you can't heal, why you can't just bounce back. Because humans over the last thousands and thousands of years, stress is stress isn't a bad thing. Stress gets a bad rap, but I mean, stress is great. If we challenges in our life, without challenges, we wouldn't grow. You and I wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't for someone who was frustrated with a problem and designed the internet and designed video conferencing and all this sort of stuff. So stress is great. It's important. But when you get sick and you get tired and your relationships and your business and life just starts falling apart, man, well, now it's reached a tipping point. And I think you're right. It's between that 35 to 45-year-old bracket. Some like your listeners, I found that as well in our practice. It's that age group demographic that problems become big enough to do something about. We get wise enough to know that it is a problem, and we're aware. It's like, okay, I can do something about this. And actually, not only can I do something about it, I've got to do something about it. This is important to me. The biggest stakeholders in my life right now, and the most important people in my life are suffering, and I got to take responsibility for that. 35 to 45, that's those questions just come to the surface.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I guess you're sort of entering into a different phase of life and things become more serious and all that sort of thing. How can people try and get on top of this stuff before it becomes that bigger problem where you are getting burnt out and having that crisis? Can we, if someone's listening that is aware of this stuff but think, okay, how can I be more preventative? What could they do?
All right, I've got a little saying. It's align, ALIGN, and so you said it. How can you be aware? Well, you gotta start thinking about your relationship with yourself. Not you, but your listeners. And I think of healing. It's less about a journey or a tick. I'm healed. Tick. It's not like that. It's not waking up in the morning. What email have I got to send? Tick. Done. Healing is more about a relationship. And so if you want to be aligned in your relationship with yourself, you need to be aware when your relationship with yourself is off track. And to know that, you got to know what on track actually looks like too. Otherwise, how are you going to know you're off track if you don't know what on track is, right? So align. So starts with awareness. Be aware that something's actually off. But a lot of people will actually mask or manage or medicate their symptoms. They might dope up on caffeine or even higher, or maybe not even prescription. They might even go down, drugs and alcohol, that sort of thing. But just to mask, manage, or medicate these symptoms just so they can keep going. So L stands for lean in. So it's don't try and stop or fix or eradicate. It's lean into it. Just allow these things to be there, because I think that pain is actually a loving message from you unconsciously, from our bodies unconsciously. And when you look at it that frame and you allow it to be there, well, now you can have a conversation with yourself. And just like any relationship, if you actually listen to the other party, you're going to have a good relationship. But when you gaslight, when you say, nah, she'll be right, mate, or when you push along, or where you get stuck up should creek, you're not going to have a really good relationship with anybody, especially yourself. So L stands for lean in. I is, well, now you're leaning in and you're aware that there's a problem. Well, what insights can you get? And I recommend journaling or voice noting, or even just staring at a wall or using a whiteboard. Just get the thoughts out of your head and plug them into something. Even if it's talking to a mate or your partner or a psychologist or a therapist or a burnout recovery coach who lives in Tasmania, who owns a functional medicine practice called Chris and Philly Functional Medicine.
Do that one.
Yeah, do that one. You can do that. So just get some insights. And then G stands for ground. Just take a couple of deep breaths, reconnect with yourself. Just like every good relationship needs some connecting. Just come back down to earth, get out of your head, connect with with yourself, with your body, breathe, and go for a walk, do a workout, lay down, go to bed, call a sickie, and actually allow yourself to be sick. Don't go home from work because you're contagious, but then do your emails and your work at home. And then N, after that, after you're feeling good and you're grounded and you've got some insights and you're allowing this stuff to come up, then N stands for navigate. Just, well, now you can actually make some better decisions, some adult decisions. Not
You're looking to make a change, to lose weight, to get toned, to gain self-confidence, all in just 24 minutes a day, then go no further. You can check out the Move Your Mind community by going to nickbrax.start.page.
immature, childish, reactive management type decisions. And that's my align method. Is one of my methods that I take guys through, and it helps them to align with what's most important in their life.
I think that's super powerful, mate. And, those steps sound like something all of us should be following. And I think the final point you said there, when you're grounded like that, to be able to make decisions in that adult mindset, because it's something I've, in more recent years through therapy have become more aware of how when I would be in the reactive states, you're making all of these decisions in that child state, or, you're reverting back to it, not aware of it, and you get stuck in that cycle. So I think it's just so important we are aware of that, and, don't try and make decisions when we're in these states. Try and get ourselves grounded first, like you're talking about. I think that's
100%.
a really good model for it.
Thank you. Yeah, it seems to work. We've got a lot of evidence and data to back it up as well. That's one of the models that we follow in our ending body burnout method, which is 6 months. We start our clients off just getting clear. It's like, what's going on? What's dysfunctional in your life? We call it the reckoning. It's where you start looking at what's happening right now, and how is this a problem for you? And what do you make this mean about you? Like it's not just about you being sick anymore, or you being grumpy or fat or whatever. It's about, this is actually bigger than that. This is a big, significant issue, but the meaning I make about myself is that I'm not good enough. And that's driving the whole show, man. And so our reckoning process looks at, okay, what's going on right now? And then we go into the past. It's like, all right, yeah, good job, nice work. You've piled all the garbage up. Where did this come from? So go back into the past. Since you're a kid, you've been making decisions, great, but now they've turned into fair income, full on programs that you run every day, and that's an issue. So you're not going to change the now if you don't go back and assess all the data that you've been accumulating your whole life. It's not just about, oh, let's talk about your problems, let's talk about your trauma. Like, we'll do that, but for a reason. It's why you do what you do. Stop managing these things and this not enoughness that you got going on unconsciously. Let's actually lay it all out, and now you've got it all in front of you. Now you can make better decisions, because, well, you have previously been basing your decisions and your choices on these unconscious programs that have been running, but now you've got new programs, new choices. What do you want instead? How can you integrate this new knowledge that you got about yourself and be healthy, happy, and have the lifestyle that you actually want? So that's what we call reckoning. And then it's about regulating your nervous system. So no, stress is great, but if you're staying up there and you're staying stressed and it turns chronic, well, that's not optimal. So we start regulating your nervous system, living on purpose, defining what on track looks like, as I said before. But that's our ending body burnout method. Yeah.
That's great. And is it 6 months? Because, like you're talking about with changing that programming, this isn't stuff that can happen overnight. It takes time to really, you're changing like a lifetime of thought patterns, I guess. So is that important that people are doing it over that prolonged period of time so they can really embed those changes, rather than just, try and go and get a quick hit of something and fall back into the same patterns?
Yeah, totally. So we call it a healing accelerator, because you could, if you're like me and you do it by yourself and you kind of don't really have a guiding principle set of resources. It took me when you have a look at it, it took me decades to get to that point. So I don't know if you've heard this one before, but turning decades into days. So if you do what we're showing you, it really is an accelerator. You don't have to take as long as what I did and what my wife did to work through burnout. You can do it quicker than that. It does take time, but 6 months isn't a long time. It's pretty quick. Some of our clients will get a complete resolution quicker than 6 months, and we've got other stuff to teach to make sure you're living on purpose. So we think 6 months is a really good time for almost everybody, but some people actually take a little bit longer to work through some chronic health stuff and some other life things. So I've got some clients who've been with us to work through things longer than 6 months. We've got some clients who stuck around past 6 months because they just like being in a positive community. But we've got some clients they get to that 6 months and they're just like, most of our clients, I would say, will get to 6 months and they'll be like, high five. Yeah. Thank you. I don't need you guys anymore. And that's awesome. That's like the best news ever. I hope I never see you again in the most loving way possible.
You've done your job if that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So see you later.
And do you do it online, in person? Is it a combination?
We're based in Latrobe in northwest Tasmania. We have a clinic. Personally, myself, I do virtually only, so I only see clients online, and I'll use video platforms and all that sort of stuff, or phone call to deliver the method with them. But stay tuned. We've got some Tasmanian retreats coming in the next year. We've got some exciting stuff to make use of this beautiful state that we're in and to do the work in person. But for now, until we put out some deets, it is all online.
Beautiful. Well, while we're on that, for anyone listening, we'll have all this in the show notes, all of the links, but where can we send them?
Yeah, so our website is chrisandphilly with a F, .fm. So FM stands for functional medicine, chrisandphilly.fm. And on our website, there's some resources. I'll send it to you, Nick. We've got 3 assessments that somebody can do. We've got one that's specifically about, am I actually burned out or am I just sleepy and tired? We've got, all right, well, is this body burnout? What's going on with my body and my symptoms? So we've got one about like your symptoms and connecting that up to the systems that make you. And then we've got one about trauma. So real challenging things that have happened in the past that are affecting your decision-making ability and decisions and choices.
Are you interested in joining a community of like-minded people who are on the same journey as you are? Even though you're the one that needs to do the work, you don't have to go it alone. You can find all of the information at nickbrax.start.page.
But also your programs and your patterns that you're running. So how is your traumatic experiences that you've experienced as you're growing up contributed to that? And we've got clients who've been in the military or in sport. It could be traumatic experiences while you're serving. It could even be from personal experience for myself and some other clients, trauma on the court or on the field, physically, and that can affect you as well as trauma growing up too. So yeah, we've got those 3 resources. I'll share it with you, but go to our website. That is the best place to find all this sort of stuff.
Fantastic, mate. No, it sounds like amazing work you guys are doing. So very needed, very needed. How big of an issue is the internet, social media, the fact that we're just 24/7? How much of a part does that play in all of this?
Yeah. Okay. So again, I think that social media can connect. It's just a tool, isn't it? It's inanimate. It's well, I think it is, unless AI is gone full Terminator style,
gone sentient or something. Yeah.
But let's just roll with it can't inherently be bad. So let's roll with it's not the problem. How you use it is, and why do you use it the way you use it? Like what sort of are you running away from something? So I feel like social media, gaming, alcohol, porn, all sorts of addictions like this and compulsions can really become a, in and of itself, it might not be bad, but why are you using it? And what do you make that mean about you? I think that's the real question that needs to get asked.
100%, and that's I think that's another podcast episode just on addiction and, what's underneath that. And it can come out, like you're saying, in anything, it could be addicted to work, addicted to, porn,
anything,
gaming, whatever. Yeah. It's all
gambling,
masking things.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Absolutely. What do you do yourself on, like, say, a daily or weekly basis to, look after yourself, to keep yourself grounded? Were there a few things you can share with our listeners that you do?
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, as I said before, like, I think that being healthy is all about a relationship with yourself. And so I think that every good relationship thrives with checking in regularly. So I like to check in on myself. So just prior to this call, I had some time by myself to just be with myself and just connect. And so I went outside, got outside. I love Tasmania. It's freezing at the moment, not as freezing as over there where you are, but maybe not right now. But when it's cold over there, it's cold. So I love Tassie. Get out in the fresh air, take a big deep breath. If I can, take my shoes off, get my feet on the earth, go for a walk, see the sunrise if I can, but breathe, eat good food, do a workout according to the dictates of my body and where I'm at right now. These are little things that help me to connect with myself.
I love that, mate. And I think, like you're saying there, just getting out in nature is so important. Like we can sort of get disconnected from that, and it's there, it's available, and it makes such a difference to be able to do that.
Yeah. I think something that's really important. So a lot of your listeners are probably living in cities where, I'm so lucky. I can see the bush from where I am. It takes me 5 minutes and I'm in a river. It takes me 5 minutes, I'm in the ocean. It takes me 5 minutes, I'm in the middle of a forest. So I'm in a beautiful part of the world where I'm so privileged for that. However, like what's your if you live in a city, what's your version of river, bush, ocean? Like, what is that? A garden? Can you plant a tree in your backyard or in your living room or something like that? Can you get a patch of dirt in your backyard that's really small but possible for you to get out there, take your shoes off, stand on it, get earth, get grounded? Can you pitch a community garden? Can you get something on your rooftop of your apartment? All this sort of stuff. I think it's a really beautiful way of getting back to nature.
100%, mate. 100%. Yeah, we can all find some sort of small version, even if we're in a big city, which in New York, It's very important to find that. There's little gardens everywhere, so you can sort of go and use them, or Central Park or whatever, but you need it in a big city. You definitely do.
I can imagine. Yeah, totally. 100%. Yeah, if New York can do it, we all can do it, right?
There you go. So we were connected over Men's Health Week. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So I think it's a very important thing for men to really just stop pushing this stuff under the rug. Stop masking, stop managing, stop medicating. Just come out and talk about these things. If not with a therapist, if not with a psychologist, if not with a burnout recovery coach from Tasmania, if not a mate, just bring it up with yourself. Start journaling these things. I think it's important to shine a light on men's health. Everybody's important, but fellas, that stop sweeping this stuff under the rug. Just connect with yourself and start thinking about yourself as a relationship, and you are important. You've got a lot of people relying on you, and even if you're not aware of it, you rely on you, and that's enough, and that's wonderful in and of itself. So you've got something to share for this world, and even if you feel like you don't, then I absolutely promise you 100% unequivocally, you definitely do.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, please click the subscribe button, leave a like or comment, share with your friends, and follow me on Instagram at nickbrax. I really appreciate your ongoing support. Beautifully said, mate, 100%. And, you know, I know through the work I do, the amount of men I've come across where have told themselves those stories you're talking about, and it's just all bullshit. It's not true. Everyone has value. And no matter how bad we feel, there is a solution, and you can, you know, it often feels like there's no way out, but there is, and there's help out there. And, you know, just do something, talk to someone, go on the internet, find a helpline, whatever it is, just get that, you know, take that first step to getting help, to going down that path is so important.
Yeah, that's it. Now, Men's Health Week is great. It's awesome, but wouldn't it be nice if you could, listener, you could have Men's Health as, you know, just delete the word week, and you could just plug that into your vocabulary, just Men's Health, you know, and whatever that looks like for you. Meet yourself where you're at. If you feel like, oh, I can't do that, I can't join a gym, or I can't afford XYZ. Well, all right, well, what can you do? What's something really little? What's a 1%er for you, man? Like what's in your capability to take care of yourself? Start building that relationship with yourself. Be healthy. Yeah, start thinking about these things. Have these conversations with yourself first and foremost.
Yeah, exactly. Because we always tell ourselves, you know, we might be aware of it and say, oh, okay, I'll get to that later on, or I'll do this when I get on top of this, or whatever it is. But if we just made it a priority, you know, health is a priority every day. What's 1%? How can I get 1% better every day? What's a small thing I can do? If you just do that every day, you don't have to actually do anything crazy, but it compounds and you'll make a huge change. But you just got to start.
Yeah, just got to start. That's it.
There you go. Well, we finish every episode with 5 closing questions, mate. So I'll
oh yeah, cool.
Throw these at you now.
Awesome.
First one being, what's your best childhood memory that comes to mind?
Oh, far out. Okay, got a Tonka truck when I was like 6, and that's really cool. That was the first one that came to my mind. What's my other one? I have a fond memory of my dad taking me to games. You know, that was really cool. Speaking of that, I have a fond memory of my mum yelling, "Get the rebound!" Yeah, that's etched in my brain. You know, I think my parents, I was blessed and lucky enough and privileged to have good parents. Definitely wasn't smooth sailing. My parents did end up getting a divorce, but I would like to say, you know, they've worked on themselves, and they gave me. I mean, I'm here today. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. What do you think's currently the biggest burden on mental health in society?
All right. Biggest burden. What's the biggest burden? I think that it's back to relationship again. It's people not thinking about themselves. It's people either running perfectionism patterns, or it's external validation, or gaslighting ourselves and just thinking, no, I'm okay, I'm fine, I don't need to do anything about it, I'm all good, but really we're not. So I think thinking about us with us, if we could just start doing that, if we could have a better relationship with ourselves and not feel like we're not good enough or unloved or weak or incapable, I think if we can get over that nonsense and start telling ourselves better stories, man, number one, the world will be a much happier place, a much healthier place. And so I think that would be a really important thing. Better relationships with ourselves.
Exactly. If we start there, everything else will follow. I love that.
Yeah.
What's your personal definition of happiness?
Ooh, all right. Personal definition of happiness. Well, okay, so I think, well, it's not satisfaction. Satisfaction is where you get what you expect. And I think happiness is, I think it's higher level than that, isn't it? I am enough. I am privileged. I am blessed. I'm grateful. And I think when you're satisfied, when you're self-secure, when you feel like you're enough, when you feel like you're blessed because you've got what you've got, I think you are a happy man or a happy woman. That you don't have to have money or possessions or even health to be happy. So happiness transcends all that. You don't need to go traveling for in any location in the world that's not as privileged as Australia or America, financially speaking, and you see happiness everywhere. So happiness isn't found in possessions, but I think it's found in gratitude and enoughness for sure.
So true, mate. So true. Well, two more here. If you could give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old self, what would that be?
Don't get the surgery. Don't cut your meniscus out. Find another way. Eat healthy.
Yep.
McDonald's is not a food group. Yes, that's probably about it. Go through the heartbreak. It's all good.
Good advice. Good advice. Well, final one, mate. What are you most proud of?
Okay. I think first thought was my daughters and then my wife. I am really proud of my daughters and my wife. I think my youngest daughter's getting an award today. That's cool.
Oh, amazing.
For growth and bravery. That's pretty sweet. But I think I'm proud of myself for going on my journey and being okay to stand in the face of adversity and grow and be brave. Yeah, I think that would be what I would say. I'm most proud of myself. That might sound, I don't know if that sounds some sort of way, but I think I really am. I think I've got it. I've got to, and I want to be proud of myself, and I am proud of myself.
I think it's the best answer because we all need, it goes back to that perfectionism thing. We don't acknowledge that enough. And if we can be proud of ourselves, then we can bring that to other people. And yeah, I think, love all the work you're doing, mate. And thank you for sharing. I'm sure all of this will massively help our audience. So I appreciate you giving me your time and love the work you're doing.
Thank you, Nick, so much for asking me your questions and for having me on your show. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris Bellette, for joining me today and offering your insights. And thank you for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode and any suggestions for topics you'd like to hear about. Feel free to leave a comment or just send a DM. Your feedback is always appreciated. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button, leave a like or comment, share with your friends, and follow me on Instagram. It really makes a difference. Thank you so much.